Welcome to GFCL Theater. Here's one ticket for you, good for any single movie here. As for snacks, what can I get for you? Okay, so that's a large popcorn with confetti sprinkles, a box of glitter gumdrops, rainbow licorice rope, and a sparkle cola. Wonderful. Your snacks will be ready for you in just a moment. Then head down the hall and enter the theater. Enjoy the show.
Greetings from Confetti Land,
home of the Confetti Bar. I'm Jessica, founder and confetti artist.
And I'm Alexis, head of happiness. Join us here in this magical, colorful place where we
have fun,
feel feelings,
and encourage you to embrace your unique version of happiness and all of its beautiful, messy pieces.
We are so excited to have you join us.
And we're back for part 2 of our Designing Happiness series.
Happy home, here we come.
So last time we talked about happy health and making sure that you're kind of thinking about the things you put into your body, around your body, and kind of the whole concept of you are what you eat and, developing healthy habits and kind of what health means for you and your individual person. But today we're going to talk about your home and how to make your home happy. And the most important distinction I want to make right from the jump is that to me in this context, the word home simply means your surroundings. So it could be your car, it could be your cubicle at work, it could be your house, it could be your apartment, it could be your person, the home of your physical being, and kind of what you wear is kind of the decoration of that. So we'll use the word home to kind of encompass all of those things and to sort of just mean like whatever you are surrounded by. If that's okay with you, Alexis.
That is A-okay with me.
Okay, good. If you said no, we would have to stop.
And that's it. No, this is a huge one for me. I know that we've talked about how ultimately your happiness is on yourself and comes from within. But oh my goodness, I am so influenced by external factors.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a biggie.
Yes. And I think that is important to sort of talk about, again, just as a reminder that, we're talking about happiness as this concept that it is something that comes from within, and it's something that you have to think about what it means for you. But again, like we said in the first part of the series, you aren't isolated, right? You are in environments, you are with other people, you are expressing yourself in various ways. So it is important that you consider that as part of your happiness. And again, not to say that just having a yellow wall in your room is gonna, change everything, but it doesn't hurt, and it certainly helps to kind of put you in the right headspace to sort of work on the deeper stuff. So yes, it is very important, and we've talked about it with Alonda too, kind of the relationship between inner feelings and outer space. And outer space, wait, that sounds like aliens, but like the space that you are surrounded with. But yeah, no, it's really important, and it's something that means a lot to me because I also am very influenced by sort of what I'm surrounded with on on a deep visceral level. I need to feel comfort in a lot of cases for me to feel kind of safe and all of those things. So we'll dive into all the aspects of it, but I think a good place to start is really kind of talking about like the details of a space, because I do think, for me anyway, like details are what kind of make a space, right? And the little things that mean something to you or that bring you joy or just kind of make you smile, like those are the things that are kind of like the confetti in your life, the little bits that are sort of more unexpected and, maybe a little quirky or fun. And those are the things that I think are really, really important to surround yourself with. So they can act as little reminders just like confetti to
Yes,
find the joy in the things that do make you happy.
I agree.
I also think kind of along those lines, something I like to think about when I'm designing something, whether it's a space or something else, is to just really think about like designing for the senses.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to kind of hit on as many of those senses as I can when I'm sort of designing something. So like I'm here in my office, so I'm just going to kind of use that as an example. But, if I'm designing my office, I want to think about, okay, like what am I going to smell when I'm in here, right? That's important. You don't want to smell something bad. So whether it's candles or room sprays or essential oils or, anything like that, that'll sort of lift my mood. I have my disco ball diffuser that a certain someone gifted me that I love so much. Spoiler alert, it was Alexis.
Got him.
So, it's just important to me that like a space smells nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that it looks nice. So, for me, that's in this room in particular, there's lots of color. There's lots of art on the walls. I have a disco ball bar cart. Sort of everything I put into this room, I want to bring me joy. I want it to be colorful. I want it to make me happy and make me feel productive and inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Sound is another one. So whether it's the music I choose to play at any given time, I'm someone who enjoys the silence. So I'm fine with just sort of being with my own thoughts. But I think, there are fun ways, maybe not in this room in particular, but, if you added like a fountain or just had like some nature sounds on in the background or whatever it is that sort of brings you peace to make sure that you can sort of hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Is another aspect. Touch is a big one. I'm very tactile. I cannot walk through like a clothing store without touching everything and feeling the fabric. So, the chair that I'm sitting in has to like have the right kind of fabric. And if, I have any pillows or blankets or anything like that, it has to be something that feels good in addition to looks good. And then taste, I'm not licking my walls over here, but like I want to make sure I have, whether it's like snacks or drinks, or if I have some little like mints or gum or something around that kind of bring me joy. Those are things I want to have available to me when I am in this space.
Mm-hmm.
So designing for the senses is definitely something that I'm all about. So Alexis,
Yes.
tell me about a space you have and walk me through each of the senses and what you have in that room for it.
Oh boy. Okay, well, I'm gonna pretend like somebody's about to come over.
Okay,
You're
perfect.
coming over, let's say.
I can't wait.
Because I think I like pay more attention to the senses when somebody else is coming over because I want them to feel comfortable. And so when I'm hosting, I look at that stuff a lot more. So when you walk in, it's gonna be clean because I know you're coming over.
She had the vacuum, she had the duster,
Yes.
the Febreze, whatever it is.
We've done the things to clean it. And overall, like pretty neutral. I do have, if you're, walking into my little living space that, bleeds into my kitchen, there are like pops of color or brighter colors, but overall it's pretty neutral, pretty calming. So that's what you're seeing. You're definitely smelling something coming out of my disco ball diffuser.
Yes.
Shout out Chrislyn for that gift, which inspired yours. But I love like a fresh citrus smell. So usually I'm going to put in something like that. Now, maybe something warmer if it's fall or winter, something spicier. But overall, it's going to be citrusy. You're hearing some music because I'll definitely turn on the TV, turn on Spotify, and have something going on in the background, depending on what vibe we're going for. And then, what am I missing? Taste. I'd probably offer you a beverage. I'd have some let's see, what have y'all been drinking recently? Olipop? I'd have some Olipop.
Olipop, Spindrift, any of those.
Yes. I love some sparkling water as well. So we'd have something in the fridge that I'd offer you. And of course, comfy blankets and pillows would be available as we sit on the couch and chat.
I love it. All right, I'm getting on a plane. I will be
Please.
there. So start cleaning.
True, seriously.
No, I love it. I think it's just important. You know, we want life to feel like it has dimension, right? And we have these
Yes.
senses, and so to experience them to their fullest and to kind of hit on things that do bring us joy for each one of those, the more we sort of surround ourselves with those things, it is easier to sort of access than some of the more inner work and the self-reflection. But you have to set the stage first, right?
Oh, and there's lamps. There's lots of lamps that are on.
Yes. Lighting. So important. Kate at Splat, we talked about lighting and how important that is. Yes, very important. I also think too, again, we can't get away from talking about feelings in pretty much any episode, but it's important to just note your feelings when you are in a certain space. And I think it's important that spaces can and should make you feel different things. So for example, when I'm in my office, I want to feel inspired and energized. And so I want brighter colors and maybe a slightly cleaner space and brighter lights and things like that. But when I'm in my bedroom, like I want to feel cozy. I want to be able to go to sleep. So the conditions all need to be right. And so I want it to be cozier with softer lighting, and I want to feel calm and at peace when I'm there. So it's just important to note, like, what are the things you want to feel in a given space and how can you sort of design around that? And I have a little story that I share in the series on the site, but I think it just really kind of illustrates my point here, where when Cliff and I were living in our condo prior to our house, I wanted to paint something for our bedroom, and I wanted it to be colorful. But again, to me, the bedroom is a space that I want to feel calm and go to sleep. So I started, and I just wanted something kind of like colorful and abstract. So I had my canvas all set up and I was ready to go, and I started painting. And then I forget exactly what happened, but like someone called, and like we had to go then do something, and I had to get interrupted, and like the day became like very chaotic. And when I came back to paint later that day, like the painting itself was like super chaotic. Like it was colorful, like without a doubt, but it was like these kind of like swirls that all kind of like got smaller and smaller as it got to the center of the canvas. And so, you know, it hit kind of the marks I thought I was going for. I wanted, you know, something colorful and fun. We hung it in our bedroom. I am not even kidding you. Like I found it was really hard for me to fall asleep. Like just the presence of that painting with all of these colors and just like the pattern it was in.
Wow.
You can get a visual if you go to theconfettibar.com/designing-happiness. You can see exactly what I'm talking about, but I couldn't sleep. Like I genuinely had trouble because it just like the presence of this painting in that room made me feel like uneasy. So I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. So I ended up putting it like in our hallway or like some other place. And I was like, okay, I need to try again. And so the next time I went to paint, I made sure that I was in a calmer head. Like I probably put on like some calming music, had a little softer light, like again, had to design my own little moment. And then what I painted, it was still really colorful, but it was like much more sort of blended and like softer shapes and less chaotic. And it does actually make me feel calmer to look at it. So I think that's just a fun example of how things in your space can kind of reflect how you're feeling, whether you recognize it or not. And so I would just encourage everyone, if you are feeling a certain type of way, to kind of look at your surroundings as part of that. And is there something in your space that's making you feel that way, even if you don't kind of even realize it? And vice versa, if there's an intentional kind of feeling that you want to go for in a given space, to think about that as you are designing it and the things and the items you choose to add to it.
Yeah. That is really good, and y'all definitely should go see the paintings. And there is such a difference. I have this little dry erase board, like wall planner kind of thing, calendar
Mhm.
sort of. And in my last apartment, I was sharing it with a roommate, so it didn't necessarily, she didn't need my calendar out in her
Right.
space as well. So I had it in my room, but I made sure to put it on a, like on the same wall as my bed so that as I
Oh, so
was
you
going
couldn't
to
see
sleep,
it?
I wasn't looking at it. I couldn't see it. And so
Yes.
that was like an intentional placement of, I want this here, but not where I can
I don't
see it
want
when
to
I'm
look
going
at
to
it.
bed or waking up.
Right. Oh, that's so funny. I can see how that would be very like, okay, let me fall asleep while staring at everything I need to do.
Yes, this long to-do list.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. Color, I think, is also just something I can't not talk a little bit about.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone here should know we're all about the color.
Yes.
But again, that's a personal choice. Just because I'm someone who likes colorful things in my office, maybe you want something that's very neutral, or maybe you love, I don't know, brown and pink together. Whatever it is that, again, is your style and what's representative of how you want to feel, go for it. It could be neutral, it could be minimalist, it could be maximalist, it could be anything in between. But I do think it is important to note that, like everything else we talk about, colors also have feelings, and the colors you choose can also have an effect on things like your mood and your mindset. And there's a lot of resources for color theory and sort of what colors mean and how they can make you feel. So again, if you are sort of designing a space with an intention behind it, like again, maybe your bedroom and you want to feel calm there, maybe you shouldn't paint it bright yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. But to each his own, to each her own. You might enjoy that, and you maybe do want to feel sunny when you're going to bed. But again, it's just something to be mindful of and to pay attention to, and think about color and think of it as more than just sort of the practical nature of decorating, but also think about it in terms of it being an intentional choice to affect your mood and your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Inspiration is another big thing for me. I love to feel inspired. And so to surround myself with the things that do make me feel inspired is always key. It's going to, again, look very personal for each person as to what does inspire you. But I think, particularly when we talk in terms of happiness, you want to surround yourself with the things that make you feel inspired and like there is hope and like there is purpose and all of those things we talked about in the first episode. So me personally, I like to look at Pinterest for inspiration a lot of times.
Yes.
I get a lot of ideas based on, like, again, how just a visual like makes me feel. And I have a bunch of different boards where it's like, ooh, this pin makes me feel a certain way, and I'm going to put it over here, and ooh, this one makes me feel this different kind of way. So
Mm-hmm.
again, just sort of like a mood board, obviously the digital version of a mood board. In my office, I like to obviously put a lot of art. Art is very inspiring to me, as is the theme of this whole season, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Very important to have art, to make art, to appreciate art. And that's always very inspiring. I like to have different books to flip through.
Yes.
They need to be pretty and have pretty covers. I am 100% that person that judges a book by its cover, but I can't help it. And I apologize to any books that have a bad cover and make me think that the book itself is not good, but I don't know how to be any other way. And just like getting out in the world, is often inspiring to me. And again, just noticing how I feel when I'm in different kinds of spaces,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of making a mental note or taking a picture or writing a physical note about sort of elements that I enjoy or find intriguing. So, yeah. What inspires you, Alexis?
Ooh. Wow. What does inspire me?
I'm just going to come right out the gate. I'm not even going to give you any no preparation.
I
Just
mean,
coming for you.
I definitely find some good inspiration on Pinterest as well. And I do have a very colorful wall that is the background for any reel that you're gonna see on Instagram. But it is very inspiring. It's got all kinds of fun confetti things and like bright colors. So that's definitely inspirational. And then also definitely like nature outside. All the colors and things and textures that you find outside are helpful. And then like certain places that I'll go to, like maybe a cute coffee shop, I'll find some inspiration. Which, let me tell you, do you do this? There are so many places that I go where I'm like, you could have done this better. You could have been more on theme with this.
Yes.
And I think that that's where my obsession with swanky bathrooms comes from.
Yes. No, I agree. And again, like, it's not from like a judgy place of like, you're terrible because you didn't do this, but to me it's about creating an atmosphere. And that's
Yes.
like what is so much like in the forefront of my mind at all times, that if I'm in a place that doesn't have any atmosphere, I'm just like, I'm not as inclined to appreciate what you have going on.
Yes. It's just like a beautiful space that they took the time to like carry out like all the details. It's just, it makes you feel some type of way. And
It
I always
does.
I want to help the people who aren't quite there.
Maybe that's your next calling in life.
I'm here for it.
All right. Well, so I think the point that we're just trying to get at here is, again, the important relationship between sort of what you surround yourself with and how that can affect your mood and your feelings. Again, it's not to say that just by painting your wall yellow, suddenly magically everything is better, but it's just, again, adding another little puzzle piece to the pile of creating this beautifully messy version of happiness that is your life. And the way you choose to design the space around you is just one element of that. And I think a couple of little tips for anyone who needs them. I think it's important to remember to start small if you're feeling overwhelmed. So, you don't have to redo your entire house in one go. You could focus on just a room or even just like a little section. I mean, maybe you just need to create like a happy little bookshelf to start. Like, that's fine. A little happy nook, or, some place that is yours that you do just add the things that make you happy. And it doesn't have to have any particular cohesive theme or, color scheme, just anything that makes you happy. Put it into this little space of yours and grow from there. So it doesn't have to be all at once. I think it's important to remember to just, again, focus on kind of your feelings first and foremost. And, when you are designing a space and you're at the store and you're looking to buy something or whatever it is, kind of ask yourself, like, how does this make me feel? And do that check-in and do that sort of inner reflection. And I guess it's sort of akin to Marie Kondo's, does this bring me joy? And, very similar to that. And it doesn't matter if it quote unquote fits the room, and the style. It matters if it fits you. And I think sometimes this is another area where in our lives we feel like we should design our home a certain way, or it should have a certain look based on what we saw all those influencers on Instagram doing.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, if you're just sort of creating a space that you don't actually connect with, think about that you're literally like sitting in that space how much of your time, and it's not actually making you happy. And what is that doing kind of on a subconscious level? So more important than fitting a certain aesthetic or a certain style is, does this make me happy? And I truly, truly believe that when you fill a space with things that you genuinely love, it automatically goes together. And there's just an energy to that space that people pick up on. And so you don't have to worry about sort of picking the style and then fitting everything to that. Just fit it to you and whatever makes you feel good, and your style sort of emerges from there. So feelings first and foremost. And lastly, I would also just, remind everyone that to just accept the fact that we go through many seasons of life. Things change, so your spaces in your home should change along with it. And so again, what made me happy when I was 20 maybe doesn't make me happy now in this season of my life. And so it's fine. It's perfectly okay. It's natural. It's probably even encouraged to kind of change things up every now and again. So to just, again, keep that check-in with yourself and to know where you are now and how you can make your space reflect that, I think is really important. So that's what I have to say about designing a happy home.
And that is all good stuff.
Well, if you enjoyed this chat, then definitely stay tuned for part 3, where we will get into the real meat of all of this happiness stuff when we talk about designing a happy heart.
Did you have a great time? Good choice watching the re-release of Titanic. Tell me, do you think Jack could have fit with Rose? Anyway, get home safe and enjoy the rest of your evening.
For more fun, join us on the socials at The Confetti Bar. To receive free inspiration delivered to your inbox, you can also join the Confetti Club at theconfettibar.com/join. Thanks for visiting!
The real meat of all of this happiness stuff when we talk about designing a happy heart. Goodbye.
Goodbye.